There's a profound difference between the darkness of the evening and the darkness that settles in at 3 a.m. It's a dead, oppressive quiet, a time when the world feels suspended and the normal rules of reality seem to bend. Most people are asleep, safe in their beds. But for those who are awake, for the night shift workers, the insomniacs, or the unlucky few who are disturbed from their sleep, they know that the dead of night is not empty. It's waiting, and it's watching. Tonight, I have 3 stories from people who found out what truly lurks in those suffocating early morning hours. The first story I have is from a man named Mark, who used to work as a security guard at a self-storage facility. He says this job cured him of ever wanting to work alone again. He writes, "The job was simple. Sit in a small guard shack from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., watch a bank of monitors, and do 1 full patrol of the facility at 3 a.m. The facility was huge, 3 floors of long, identical, dimly lit hallways lined with roll-up metal doors. It was the kind of place where every small sound echoed, and you were always convinced you heard something just around the corner. For the first few months it was fine. Boring even. I'd listen to podcasts, do my 1 patrol, and count the hours. The patrol at 3 a.m. was always the worst part. The lights in the hallways were motion activated, so as I walked, they would flicker on ahead of me and click off behind me. It felt like the darkness was chasing me. One night, I was on my patrol on the 2nd floor. I turned a corner and the lights clicked on, revealing a woman standing at the end of the hallway about 100 feet away, just staring at me. My heart nearly stopped. She was wearing a simple, old-fashioned white dress, and her feet were bare. Her hair was long and dark, covering her face. "Ma'am?" I called out, my voice shaking. "The facility is closed. You can't be in here." She didn't move. She just stood there, perfectly still. I unclipped my radio to call the police, but as I looked down for a second, I heard a sound, a single, heavy thud. I looked up. She was gone. The hallway was empty. I felt a rush of adrenaline and panic. I walked slowly down the hall, checking the heavy-duty padlocks on every unit. They were all secure. There was no way in or out. I told myself I was tired, that I'd imagined it. I finished my patrol and practically ran back to the guard shack. I sat there watching the monitors, my heart still racing. Then I saw her. On monitor 2B, the camera for the exact hallway I had just left. She was standing in the middle of the hall in the exact spot. But this time, she was looking straight up at the camera. And then, she slowly raised her head, letting her hair fall back. Her face, it was horribly wrong. Her eyes were just empty, black sockets, and her mouth was stretched open in a silent, impossible scream. I physically recoiled from the monitor. I was about to grab the phone when the feed on monitor 2B just died. It went to static. And then, one by one, every other monitor in the bank went to static, in sequence, like something was moving through the building, getting closer. Monitor 2C, static. Monitor 2A, static. Monitor 1C, 1B, 1A. The cameras on the 1st floor. And finally, the monitor for the exterior hallway, the one right outside my shack. Static. I was in total darkness, completely blind. I grabbed the heavy maglite from the desk and locked the shack door. I sat there in the dark, my breath fogging up in front of me even though it wasn't cold. And then I heard it. A soft, wet tapping. Tap, tap, tap. It was coming from the glass window of the shack right behind my head. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. Tap, tap, tap. Louder this time. My hand was shaking so badly I could barely hold the flashlight. I counted to 3, spun around in my chair, and shined the high-beam flashlight directly at the window. There was nothing there, just my own reflection, pale and terrified. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding, and then, through the reflection on the glass, I saw the main gate to the facility, the heavy iron gate, 50 yards away, slowly, silently, swinging open. I quit the next morning. I just left the keys on the desk and walked out. The company kept my last paycheck. I didn't care. I found out later that a woman had been murdered and dismembered by her husband, who then stored her body parts in one of the units on the second floor for months before he was caught. I'll never work at night again, and I will never, ever rent a storage unit. This next story comes from a woman named Chloe. It's about a sound, just a sound, but as she explains, some sounds are not meant to be heard. She writes, "I live alone in a small apartment in a relatively new building. I've always been a light sleeper. A few weeks ago, I was woken up around 3:30 a.m. It wasn't a loud noise, but a strange one. It was a tapping sound, but it was rhythmic. It was coming from the wall my bed is pushed up against. It sounded like Morse code. Tap, 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 tap. I was annoyed. I figured it was my neighbor, maybe hanging a picture at this ungodly hour. I banged my fist on the wall. "Hey, cut it out!" The tapping stopped instantly. I smiled, satisfied, and rolled over. Just as I was drifting off, it started again. Tap, 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 tap. This time it was louder, more insistent. I banged on the wall again, harder this time. I'm trying to sleep. Again, it stopped. A few seconds of silence passed, and then I heard a sound that made my entire body go cold. I heard the exact same tapping pattern, but this time, it was coming from inside my apartment. It was coming from my closet door on the other side of the room. I sat bolt upright, staring into the darkness. Tap, 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 tap. It was coming from the inside of the closet. I live alone. There is no one else here. My mind was racing. A burglar? How? I grabbed my phone, my fingers fumbling with the screen to call 911. I shined the phone's flashlight at the closet. The door was closed just as I'd left it. The tapping stopped the moment the light hit it. I held my breath, listening. Nothing. Just the hum of the refrigerator. I convinced myself I was half asleep, that I'd had a vivid nightmare. I got out of bed, slowly walked over to the closet, and put my ear against the wood. Silence. I grabbed the handle and yanked the door open. Just my clothes hanging there, shoes on the floor. I let out a shaky laugh. I was just freaking myself out. I closed the closet door and got back into bed, leaving the light on my nightstand on. I finally fell asleep around 5 a.m. The next morning I was getting dressed for work. I opened my closet, and I saw it. On the inside of the closet door, written in something that looked like ash or soot, was a single word. Liar. I moved out that day. I'm staying on my friend's couch. I don't know what was in that closet. I don't know what was in the wall. But I know I'm never sleeping in a room with a closet again. Our final story for tonight is from a college student named Jason. It's a modern horror story, a reminder that the devices we use to connect with the world can also be a gateway for something else. He writes, "My girlfriend Maya was studying abroad in Japan. We were in a long-distance relationship, which was tough, but we made it work with video calls. With the time difference, the only time we could really talk was late at night for me, which was the middle of the day for her. One night, around 2 a.m. my time, we were on a call. She was telling me about her day, walking around Kyoto. I was just lying in my dark dorm room, happy to listen to her voice. Suddenly, her video feed froze. 'Maya,' I said, 'you there?' Her audio was still working. I heard her voice, but it was weird. It was distorted, and she was saying something over and over. 'It's so cold here,' she said, her voice sounding distant. 'It's so cold, it's so cold.' 'Maya, what's wrong?' I asked, starting to get worried. 'Your video's frozen.' The video feed suddenly lurched back to life, but it wasn't Maya. The camera was on the ground, pointing up at the ceiling of a room, a dark wooden room. It looked like an old traditional Japanese house. It was definitely not outside in Kyoto. Maya, where are you? What's going on? I heard her audio again, but this time it was just breathing. A very slow, ragged breath. Then I heard a man's voice very close to the microphone. It was speaking in Japanese, a language I don't understand, but the tone was hungry. It was a low, wet, guttural sound. Maya, I yelled. Who is that? The video feed twitched. The camera was picked up. And for one horrible second, I saw what was holding it. It wasn't Maya. It was a man, or what looked like a man. He was incredibly pale, naked, with eyes that were filmed over and white. He was crouching in the corner of the dark room. He looked directly into the camera, directly at me, and he smiled, a wide, lipless smile that showed broken brown teeth. Then the call ended. I tried calling her back, over and over. Her phone went straight to voicemail. I texted, I emailed, I messaged her on every platform. Nothing. I was in a full-blown panic. I called her host family in Japan. I called the study abroad program. For 12 hours, nobody knew where she was. I thought I was going to lose my mind. Then finally, I got a text from her. Hey, so sorry, my phone died last night. I'm fine. Call me? I called her immediately. She picked up, her voice perfectly normal. Oh my God, what happened? I shouted, explaining everything I saw, the frozen video, the dark room, the man. She just laughed. What are you talking about? My phone died when I was walking home from the train station. I got back, plugged it in and went to bed. You must have dreamed it, silly. But I wasn't dreaming. I know what I saw, I know what I heard. Maya is back home now and she's fine. She doesn't remember anything, but sometimes late at night I'll catch her staring at me. And just last week I was looking at the photos on her phone from her trip. I found a video. It was a short 3-second clip. It was pitch black, but I could hear audio. It was that same man's voice, speaking in Japanese. And then I heard Maya's voice, whispering one thing. He's watching us.